This happened a week ago. I'm Clara, 34, and as a freelance writer, I thought a retreat in the woods would help spark some inspiration. I had always enjoyed nature, but I'm not an expert. I set up camp at the edge of a small clearing surrounded by tall pines. The air felt fresh, and I thought this was just what I needed. But now, I can't stop thinking about what happened there. That first evening, I sat by my campfire. It was quiet, except for the crackling of wood. Suddenly, I heard something. It was soft and sort of melodic. At first, I thought it might be a child laughing. I stood up and walked closer, but the sound faded away. I felt uneasy, but my curiosity pushed me on. After all, I was alone, or so I thought. The next day, I decided to explore deeper. I wandered further into the trees, hoping to find a trail or maybe a stream. As I walked, I stumbled upon perfect circles of grass. They looked like clearings, but I couldn't understand why they were there. I hesitated before stepping into one. The moment I did, a chill ran down my spine. I couldn't see anything unusual, but I felt something was off. I turned around quickly, my heart racing. Things got stranger as the days progressed. I found footprints in the dirt. They were odd, like they belonged to someone who wasn't quite human. They didn't lead anywhere, just vanished into the underbrush. I knelt down, my hands shaking as I examined them. It felt like I was being watched, even though I saw no one. I wanted to turn back, but a small part of me felt the need to keep going. On my last night, I caught a glimpse of something moving between the trees. It was just a shadow, but it seemed to change shape. I tried to approach it, but when I got closer, it disappeared. I felt cold, and it was hard to breathe. I looked around at the trees, nerves taking over. "Is anyone there?" I called out, though I didn't know why I did. There was no answer, just silence wrapping around me. That's when I realized my notebook was missing. The pages I had been writing on earlier were gone. I had no idea how they disappeared. Maybe I dropped them, or perhaps something took them. I sat down, wondering what I had documented and if I missed something important. The more I thought about it, the more I felt like I needed to leave. I packed up my things and started walking back to my car. My heart pounded with each step. Then I heard a whisper that chilled my bones. I turned quickly, but no one was there. What did it say? I wasn't sure. Now I can't make sense of those experiences. I replay them over and over in my mind. What happened in that forest? I often wonder. If it was all just in my head, or if something was truly there with me, watching, waiting. The mystery haunts me, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. The drive back to the city was a blur. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was still in that forest, like a part of me was still watching from the shadows. I arrived home, the comforting weight of familiarity surrounding me, but I felt restless. I grabbed my laptop, hoping to write down what happened, but the words wouldn't come. Every time I tried, I was pulled back into that eerie silence. The following morning, I decided to visit a local bookstore. I thought maybe I could find something to ease my mind, a book about the woods or folklore tales. As I walked through the aisles, I came across a section dedicated to local myths. One title caught my eye: The Whispering Woods, Legends and Secrets of the Shadows. I didn't remember seeing it before. I pulled it off the shelf and flipped through the pages, skimming over stories about disappearances and strange markings in the trees. Then, a particular passage made me stop. It mentioned circles of grass appearing overnight, similar to what I had found. They were said to be summoning circles, places where spirits could gather. My heart raced. It was just folklore, right? It had to be. But something inside me stirred. I bought the book, feeling both nervous and curious. When I got home, I sat down with a cup of tea to read. The more I read, the more paranoid I became. There were references to strange creatures, vague descriptions that matched the unease I had felt. The forest seemed to come alive in those stories, twisting into something sinister. That evening, I heard the whispers again. They were faint at first, barely audible, like someone was just outside my window. I jumped up, heart pounding, and rushed over to the glass. Nothing, just the quiet streets bathed in the glow of streetlights. I paced my living room, unsure whether to feel scared or foolish. I glanced at the book, reluctant to see if there was more about those whispers. I flipped to the back, looking for anything that might explain what I was feeling. Colonies of shadows danced in my mind as I read about guardian spirits and their connection to humans during certain phases of the moon. It talked about how they could allure the curious into the woods. That's when I realized my notebook and those lost pages might be more than mere scraps of thoughts. What if the whispers were connected to that old folklore? Just then, I noticed something strange on the cover of the book. There was an unusual pattern etched into the spine, a series of small circles. I rushed to the door, the chill from my encounter still wrapping around me, prompting me to grab my
coat. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I needed to go back to the clearing. Maybe I could find answers and confront whatever had watched me. With each step towards the door, my heart raced faster. What was waiting for me in the woods? I drove back to the spot, my knuckles white on the steering wheel. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the road. I glanced at the book again, its spine still gleaming with those small circles. I felt a growing urgency. I parked the car and stepped out, the air thick with an unsettling hush. As I walked, the familiar path seemed foreign. Every rustle in the underbrush made me jump. I tried to push the thoughts of folklore out of my head, but they crept back in like the shadows all around me. I arrived at the clearing, my heart racing. The grass was still marked with the impression of those circles, as if the earth itself had been disturbed in some way. I stood there, scanning the area, hoping to find something new. To my left, I spotted a pile of broken branches. I approached it. Maybe there was something underneath? As I bent down, I noticed something glimmering in the fading light. It was a piece of reflective metal. I pulled it out and realized it was a small mirror. My breath caught in my throat as I examined it. Suddenly, an unexpected chill washed over me, causing my skin to prickle. In the reflection, I saw something behind me. I whipped around, but there was nothing there, just trees standing like silent sentinels. I turned back to the mirror, half expecting to see something lurking, but only my own wide eyes stared back. Then I noticed footprints in the damp earth leading deeper into the woods. They were human, but they didn't look fresh. My instinct screamed at me to leave, but curiosity pushed me forward. I followed the trail. Each step felt heavier than the last, my senses heightened. That's when it hit me. A sharp, musty smell hung in the air, something rotting. I halted. The footprints led toward a knot of trees, their bark twisted and misshapen, resembling faces. My stomach churned as I wanted to turn back, but an unseen force pulled me closer. Suddenly, I heard the whispers again, louder this time, swirling through the trees. "Stay with us," they seemed to say. Panic set in, and I froze, trying to discern whether it was my imagination or something more sinister. The wind picked up, rustling the leaves, and I could have sworn I saw a faint movement among the branches. Just then, I lost my footing and stumbled, landing hard on the ground. My hands dug into the dirt, and that's when I saw it. A small circle, identical to those in the book, had appeared right beside me, etched into the earth. My pulse quickened. I'd read about these summoning circles, but seeing one felt like
a punch to the gut. I was about to scramble back to my feet when the whispers intensified. "Join us." The ground felt alive beneath me,
vibrating with an energy I couldn't understand. Then a loud snap echoed through the forest. I turned, fear coursing through me. Something was moving in the darkness, and it wasn't alone. Someone or something was watching, waiting. I suddenly remembered the stories of those who went missing in the woods. I had to get out, but my body felt heavy, as if the forest was trying to keep me there. The chilling whispers urged me on, and just as I regained my footing and bolted, I heard a voice behind me, a whisper too clear to ignore. "You've been chosen." I didn't stop running until I reached my car, breathless and trembling. I locked the doors and drove away, the weight of the whispers still clinging to me. I had to figure out what happened that night. I needed answers, and I couldn't shake the feeling that the forest wasn't done with me yet. The next day, I couldn't shake the feeling of dread that had settled in my gut. I tried to go about my daily life, but each moment reminded me of those whispered words, "You've been chosen." I grabbed my laptop, determined to dig deeper into the history of that forest. I needed to know what I was dealing with. As I searched online for local lore and news articles, I stumbled upon a forum dedicated to the mysterious happenings in the woods. People shared stories of strange occurrences, swapping tales of lights flickering between the trees, and echoes of laughter that felt too real to be mere imagination. Some claimed to have encountered figures dressed in rags wandering aimlessly. Others talked about possessions and things lost forever. One post caught my eye. A user named Wanderer Lost described finding a mirror in the woods, much like the one I had held. They mentioned feeling a connection to something otherworldly. My heart raced. I needed to know more. I typed a response, hoping to make contact. As soon as I sent the message, I felt a wave of anxiety wash over me. Maybe this was a mistake. What if I triggered something I couldn't control? The stories all hinted at dark forces, and now they felt uncomfortably close, like the whispering shadows lurking just outside my window. That night, unable to sleep, I sat in my living room with every light on. I stared at the mirror that had accompanied me from the forest. It caught the glow from the lamp, reflecting shards of light that danced on the walls. I remembered it showing me something in that clearing. That fleeting moment gripped me tightly, and all I could think was, what did I see? With a sudden resolve, I took the mirror and decided to return it to the woods as if it was a peace offering. Maybe then, whatever was haunting me would leave me alone. I didn't plan to stay long, just long enough to drop it near the summoning circle and leave. But as I approached the forest, unease clawed at my insides. The trees loomed heavier than before, the path unfurling like a dark artery leading into the unknown. The whispers from my last visit echoed again in my ears, coaxing me deeper. When I reached the clearing, the air felt thick and electric. I placed the mirror on the ground and stepped back. Suddenly, the circle I had seen before flared back to life, glowing faintly in the moonlight. I blinked, trying to convince myself it was my imagination, but it wasn't. Then I heard it, another snap of a branch. This time, it wasn't just the wind. My heart dropped. What now? The memories of those missing in the woods flooded my mind. I turned to leave when I felt a breath on my neck, a warm, unsettling presence that made me freeze. I spun around, but it was too late. I caught a glimpse of movement in the shadows, dark figures darting through the trees. Panic surged through me. The stories had come alive. They were real. Without thinking, I bolted in the opposite direction. I could hear the whispers intensifying, urging me to join them. Just as I reached the edge of the clearing, something cold brushed against my arm. I glanced back at the mirror, now glowing brightly. Then, everything went dark. I woke up on the forest floor, disoriented and gasping for air. My head throbbed as I tried to gather my thoughts.
How long had I been out? The moon hung high, casting a silvery glow that illuminated the eerie stillness around me. Fear gripped my chest. I forced myself to my feet. I looked around, panic clawing at me. I was still in that cursed clearing, but the mirror was gone. I frantically checked my surroundings. Had one of those shadowy figures taken it? The whispers returned. Soft, drawn-out syllables, like a siren's call, floated through the trees. I turned, half expecting to see those dark figures emerging from the woodwork, but there was nothing there. Just more shadows weaving deeper into the forest. I took a step back, trying to remember which way I had come from. Then, I spotted something on the ground, a small, shimmering piece of glass. I knelt to pick it up, and recognition hit me hard. It was a fragment of the mirror. How could this be? Panic turned to confusion. The whispers grew louder, encouraging me to follow them, to join whatever had taken those who ventured here before me. Ignoring the chill creeping down my spine, I stood and glanced toward the path leading deeper into the woods. I felt a pull, a magnetic force urging me to walk. The stories had warned me about this, but curiosity drove me on. I stepped cautiously forward, each footfall muffled by the soft ground. And then I saw it. An old, gnarled tree that seemed entirely out of place amid the surrounding trunks. Its bark was twisted, swirling in unnatural patterns that pulsed like veins. It looked alive. Cautiously, I approached, feeling drawn to it like a moth to a flame. As I touched the bark, an icy jolt shot up my arm. My heart raced as images flooded my mind. Memories of the forest's past and encounters with things I couldn't describe. Faces, blurred in the haze, flashed before my eyes. Some were filled with terror, others with glee. I stumbled back, gasping in disbelief. "Stop," I said aloud, my voice shaking. "I don't want to see this." But the visions kept coming. Tendrils of mist swirling, sucking down lost souls into the earth. I struggled to break free from the grip of the tree's memory. Then, suddenly, I heard a laugh behind me. A sound so light and unnatural that I couldn't tell if it belonged to a child or something far darker. I whirled around, scanning the darkness, dread settling in my bones. Alone, I prepared to step back the way I had come. But then, something in the underbrush rustled. My heart pounded as I caught movement. A figure emerged, shrouded in darkness, its shape shifting as though the shadows themselves adorned it. My breath hitched in my throat. "What do you want?" I stammered, desperate now. That's when I saw it. In the figure's hand was the mirror, now whole and glinting eerily. My reflection shimmered on its surface, morphing into a million faces of those who had wandered these woods before. And it was just as I feared. They were not just lost, they were waiting. And so was I. My heart raced as the figure stepped closer. The mirror was its weapon, and I felt its power. Each movement it made was deliberate, almost mocking. "Why do you have it?" I demanded, my voice stronger than I felt. The figure paused, tilting its head as if pondering my question. Its face remained hidden in shadows, but I could sense it grinning. "You want it back?" it asked, the sound winding its way through the air like a serpent. "What would you do with it?" "I don't want anything from you," I shot back, my irritation rising. But the truth was, I needed that mirror. It was the only thing tethering me to the memories I had just seen, the only way to make sense of the pull this forest had on me. "It shows you what was," the figure continued, its voice smooth and eerie. "Do you think you can change it?" It waved the mirror in the air, the reflections shifting, twisting into anguished faces. I could see them reaching out as though they wanted to escape. "It doesn't belong to you," I yelled, stepping forward. But a sudden force pushed me back.
The tree seemed to tremble behind me, and the ground felt unsteady. I stumbled, desperately trying to regain my balance. Belonging is an
illusion, the figure said softly, and the laughter returned, echoing through the clearing. You cannot possess that which was never yours. I shook my head, denying the truth in its words. I thought of the fragment I had found. There had to be a way to reclaim it, to control what lay within the mirror. But as I glanced back, I realized it was gone from my grip. Had that figure taken it? "Come closer," it coaxed, voice dripping with false sweetness. "Look into the mirror and see your past. It calls for you, you know, just as we all do." Behind the figure, the shadows thickened, twisting together, forming shapes that pulled at my mind. I could almost hear the soft whispers from the depths of the woods, confirming what I feared. They were beckoning me in, telling me I was not like the others, I could be different. But even as the whispers grew louder, I hesitated. What if I couldn't return? What if the mirror didn't show me history, but dragged me into another dimension of agony, just like the souls trapped within? "Just a step, and you will understand," it urged, its movements intent and deliberate. I felt that magnetic pull again. A craving for knowledge battled with a deep-rooted fear. Somehow, I needed to break free from this. I turned on my heel, determination igniting within me. I ran, weaving through the trees, heart hammering in my chest, pushing past the echoes of the forest that threatened to ensnare me. Then, everything went dark. Chapter 2. I woke up lying on the cool ground, leaves prickling my skin. The forest enveloped me, its silence almost oppressive. I blinked against the filtered light, trying to piece together what had just happened. The mirror, the figure, it all felt like a fever dream. But the remnants of that encounter clung to me like mist. Pushing myself up, I took a deep breath. I could still feel the echoes of the whispers in the air, faint but persistent. I shook my head, attempting to clear my mind from the haunting images. I needed to get out of here. As I stood, I realized that I was closer to the heart of the forest. The trees loomed taller, their branches forming an intricate maze overhead. I began to walk, keeping my eyes on the ground, aware that each step was uncertain. My goal was simple: find a way out. But as I moved deeper, I noticed something strange. The paths seemed to shift, as if the trees themselves were rearranging. My gut twisted with unease. I had to keep going, I told myself, but the anxiety simmered beneath my skin. Then I stumbled upon it. A small clearing and something glinting in the sunlight caught my eye. It was a fragment of a mirror, fractured and half buried in the dirt. My heart raced. Was this a sign? I knelt down, picking it gingerly. The surface shimmered, showing me faint reflections of myself mixed with blurred faces I didn't recognize. I felt a connection to it, but I didn't understand why. My thoughts raced ahead. If I could find the other piece, maybe I could control what was shown. Suddenly, a rustling nearby made me freeze. I glanced up, and my stomach dropped. A shadow moved between the trees just beyond the clearing. It wasn't the same figure I had seen earlier, but it carried the same air of danger. I had to decide quickly. My instincts screamed at me to run, but curiosity kept me rooted in place. What was watching me? I took a step back, clutching the shard tightly. Before I could think, the shadow lunged forward. It was taller than me, its features indistinct, but I could sense its eyes boring into mine. I bolted, panic-driven. The woods closed in around me as I darted from side to side, trying to shake it off. My lungs burned, and the ground beneath my feet felt alive. The shadows transformed into a maze, and I struggled to navigate through the chaos. But something behind me yelled. No, it whispered. as if it was beckoning me back to the mirror. Just when I thought I could escape, I tripped, falling hard onto the ground. My heart raced, and I turned to see the figure looming above me. It reached out with a hand that shimmered like glass, and fear clawed at my throat. Fingers trembling, I held up the fragment of the mirror, ready to fight back. But that's when I caught a glimpse of its reflection. In the mirror, a deeper darkness watched me back, one that didn't belong to this world. I felt my breath hitch, realizing that I was not alone. Chapter 3. The figure hung over me, but something shifted in its stance. It hesitated, as if the shard had woven a barrier between us. I held it tighter, my pulse racing. Perhaps it sensed that I had no intention of backing down. Then, just as quickly, it drew back, vanishing into the shadows like smoke. Confusion mixed with relief coursed through me. Had it been a trick of the light? Yet the feeling of being watched remained. I pushed myself up, shaking dirt from my clothes. I had to keep moving. This forest was an enigma, and I couldn't afford to linger here. The mirror shard pulsed in my hand, a constant reminder that it held answers, or at least I hoped it did. As I took a few cautious steps forward, I was struck by a sudden chill. The air felt different, more oppressive, as if something heavy loomed just beyond my reach. Every rustle seemed amplified, every shadow felt charged with hostility. I glanced around, scanning for any sign of movement. That's when I saw it. A strange marking on a nearby tree, a spiral etched into the bark. It was disturbed, fresh, like someone had carved it just moments ago. I approached cautiously, dread creeping into my bones.
Could this be connected to the figure? My instincts told me to run, but my feet would not budge. I knelt down, tracing the spiral with my fingers. It was warm to the touch, causing a strange shiver to run through me. Suddenly, a sharp crack echoed from behind, and I whipped around. Nothing, just silence. My heart raced. Then, a whisper floated through the air, barely audible, yet unmistakable, like a soft call. "Come back," it seemed to say. I shook my head, fighting the compulsion to respond. I was not here to engage whatever dark force lurked in the forest. Just then, a rustle broke the tension. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a glint of metal. I walked toward it, curiosity overpowering my caution. When I reached the area, I found an old compass lying in the dirt, its glass cracked, but needles still intact. I picked it up. It spun wildly before settling, pointing not north, but deeper into the woods. My heart sank. There was no way I could go that way, not after everything I had already encountered. But part of me felt an undeniable pull, a calling I couldn't ignore. Then the whispers grew louder, swirling around me like a tempest. I took a step back, but it felt like the forest itself was urging me forward. Panic bubbled up, and doubts flooded my mind. Should I follow the compass? Would it lead me to safety or further into the unknown? I was torn. Stay and uncover the truth, or flee from the impending dread? Then the shadows thickened around me, and the air turned chillingly still. I needed to decide. Just as I started to turn away, a low growl echoed from the darkness. I froze, my heart hammering in my chest. Something was coming, and I realized my time had run out. The forest had awakened, and it did not want me to leave. Chapter 4. The growl deepened, vibrating through the air like a warning. I had only a moment to react. My instincts screamed to run, but panic rooted me to the spot. The compass dangled from my fingers, mocking me with its unyielding direction deeper into the woods. Then I saw it. A pair of glowing eyes emerged between the trees, reflecting the dim light that filtered through the canopy. My heart thundered as the creature stepped forward into view.
A sleek, shadowy figure with a low growl that resonated through my bones. Fear gripped me like a vice. I backed away, breaking the trance, and turned to run. But the underbrush snagged at my feet. It felt like the forest itself was pulling me back. Every vine and branch seemed alive, reaching out to ensnare me. I glanced back just in time to see the creature spring forward, muscles rippling under its dark fur. I darted to the right, zigzagging through the trees. The creature followed, relentless, its growl echoing like thunder. Desperation pushed me faster. I had to find a way out. Just ahead, the ground sloped downwards, leading to a small clearing. I stumbled into it, breathless. That's when I noticed something odd. In the center of the clearing stood a weathered stone altar, covered in the same spiral marking I had seen on the tree. It pulsed with a faint glow, almost as if it were alive. My feet froze again, caught between the urge to flee and the pull toward the altar. The creature followed me into the clearing, its eyes fixed on me with an unsettling intensity. It stopped at the edge of the altar, hesitating. I took a moment to catch my breath, confusion mixing with terror. Why had it stopped? Instinctively, I raised the mirror shard, and it began to resonate, a soft hum filling the air. I could see the creature's eyes flicker. It was struggling with something, a longing perhaps. Was it attracted to the shard, or was it trying to protect me from the altar? I took a cautious step toward the stone structure, my heart racing. The whispers returned, clearer now, as if they were beckoning me closer. "Join us," they echoed, twining around the clearing, pulling me in. My hand trembled as I extended it toward the altar. Just then, the creature lunged, crossing the boundary it had held so carefully until now. It approached with a speed I couldn't fathom and stopped inches from me, a low growl rumbling deep in its throat. Fear flooded back. My instincts screamed for me to back away. But I was frozen, trapped between the altar's call and the creature's gaze. The atmosphere thickened, and I could almost feel a pulse in the earth beneath me, alive and waiting. I needed to make a choice. In that moment of profound uncertainty, the ground began to tremble slightly beneath my feet. I could feel it. The forest was alive with energy, a force that demanded action. I had to choose. Would I take a leap into the unknown, or would I succumb to the fear that paralyzed me? Before I could decide, everything went dark. The growling ceased, the whispers faded, and the pulse of the earth vanished, leaving me in a void of silence. I couldn't shake the feeling that something monumental had shifted. I stood there, lost and alone, wondering what would come next. I woke up again, but this time it felt different. The cool earth beneath me had grown warmer, somehow reassuring. I opened my eyes to bright sunlight spilling through the trees, and the forest was quiet, too quiet. I pushed myself up, glancing around, half expecting to see shadows lurking. The clearing was empty. The altar stood silently, its spiral carving faint in the soft morning light. The weight in my chest eased slightly. There was no creature, no whispers, just the rustle of leaves in a refreshing breeze. But what had happened? I scrambled to my feet, scanning my surroundings for any sign of what transpired. The mirror shard was still clutched tightly in my hand. It sparkled in the sun, reminding me of the creature's eyes, of the whispers that called to me, of everything that had unfolded. I could still feel the remnants of fear, but I was alive. Memories flooded back, images of that shadowy figure, the whispers, and the urgency I felt toward the altar. There was something significant about that moment, something I couldn't grasp. Part of me felt drawn to stay, to understand its meaning. But the other part screamed for me to escape, reminding me that the boundaries of this forest were never meant to be crossed. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to step away from the altar. As I did, the sunlight seemed brighter, the air fresher. I started moving away,
back towards the trees that led to my escape route. The compass still spun wildly, but I no longer felt its pull. My instincts had grown stronger, sharper. I made my way back through the forest, listening for sounds of danger, remaining hyper-aware of each step, feeling the path beneath my feet shift subtly. The earlier sense of being watched dissipated, replaced by a strange mix of gratitude and unease. I was escaping, yet a part of me was still tethered to that clearing. When I finally found the car, relief washed over me like a wave. I climbed in, locking the doors as if it would protect me from the darkness I had felt. As I drove away, I couldn't shake the lingering questions swirling in my mind. What was real? Was anything truly gone, or was it just waiting for an opportune moment to return? I reached the edge of the forest and took one last glance in the rearview mirror. The trees loomed silently, but something flickered within, a suggestion of shadows dancing just behind the trunks. I shivered and pressed the accelerator, leaving it all behind. Days passed. The city felt surreal after the evocation of nature. I struggled to focus on mundane tasks, and the words I had hoped to write never came. At night, I would lie awake, the whispers echoing in my mind, a haunting melody I couldn't shake. Just when I thought I had buried the experience deep within, I opened my laptop one evening, intending to document everything. There it was, the near obsession of a mind wrestling with reality. Each stroke of the keyboard seemed to reopen old wounds, and the necessity of understanding pulled at me. I needed to research further, to confront what had happened. Eager yet terrified, I dove into local folklore and accounts of disappearances. But I found far more than I expected. Stories that connected timelines, overlaps of those who had wandered into the forest and never returned, or what they left behind. I couldn't decide if the woods were a mere reflection of the psyche or something much darker, biding its time. Then I received a message from Wanderer Lost, the user I had contacted on the forum. They claimed they could help me understand what had happened, that they had discovered something profound about the mirror I once held. My heart raced, and a part of me was intrigued. What if it could unlock the answers I craved? But as I typed a reply, a familiar dread pooled in the pit of my stomach. Would pursuing this connection lead me deeper into the tangled web of the forest, or could it finally set me free from its grasp? I stared at the screen, resisting the urge to act impulsively. Instead, I set the laptop aside and looked around my apartment, feeling the weight of normalcy. I had escaped the forest, but had it truly let me go? In the stillness of the room, I closed my eyes. I could almost hear the whispers again, soft but insistent. And as that chill swept through me, I understood. The answers lay not in the forest or the mirror, but within the ambiguity of the experience itself. What that darkness sought and how I fit into its story remained a mystery. I took a deep breath, accepting that some things might never be understood. Maybe I would dive deeper one day, but for now, it was enough to leave it unknown. Perhaps that was the only way to remain free. The forest lingered on the fringes of my consciousness, alive and waiting, but so was I.